friends, I'm here all by myself, so I hope that I am in frame and actually recording. My name is Carla. Welcome to Stay Stitching. I am glad you're here. This is not going to be a sewing talk. This is going to be a talk about mental health. And so as those of you who have been watching my videos for a while now know that I was gone for, I haven't even looked, quite a while. And so I want to talk a little bit about that today. But before I get started on that, I want to talk about some of you and how incredibly caring and thoughtful and kind you are. So during the past few months, during my absence, many people reached out to me. They reached out on YouTube. They reached out on Instagram. They reached out at Mayfield Fabric on our email. This is an extraordinary thing that really blew me away. And it's probably the only reason why, or the main reason why, I have any desire at all to continue YouTube videos. Now, YouTube is not the subject of this. It doesn't have anything to do with this, except that those of you who reached out to me, I only know because I had a YouTube channel, and that has been a tremendous gift to know you. You guys all know who you are, and it's very hard for me to describe how important your personal gift of caring and nurturing is to the people that you reach out to in your lives. And I just want to encourage you that you have a strong gift of nurturing and caretaking and empathy, and it's very important. And I want to encourage you to never ever quit reaching out to people, even if sometimes it seems like it may not matter. Like, I did not respond to very many of the people who reached out to me. Maybe 10% of them, just depending on whether I, felt like I could communicate that day. So those caretakers sometimes, I think, reach out in a nurturing way and are not rewarded. I kind of think an analogy for that is school teachers who put their heart and soul and love into their students, but we can't overcome what those students are dealing with at home. All we can do is love them the best that we can while they are within our grasp. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you who reached out to me during these past few months. Now, those of you who did not, please do not think that I am criticizing you in any way. I am a natural introvert, and reaching out is very difficult for me. I might be thinking about someone, but my follow-through is terrible. So please don't think that I think that if you didn't reach out to me that you don't care about me. That is not what I'm saying at all. I just wanted to lift up those who are those social, nurturing, caretaking, giving people who do go that extra step and reach out. Because I tend to think about people and then not follow through for fear of, looking weird or intruding or, something like that, whatever my weird reasons are. So that was what I wanted to say first of all. And I meant to set a timer because I don't want this video to go on forever. So I'm going to go ahead and set one while I talk to you here. And then if I touch on anything, let's see, I'm going to give myself 13 more minutes. If I touch on anything during this video that you want me to address further, I would be happy to do that, because what I want to do is open a discussion and hopefully help some of you out there or some of the people who you love that you might be watching. So what do I want to talk about? Depression and anxiety. This is not going to be a big, oh, woe is me, where I empty all my deepest, darkest secrets. I want to have a discussion about mental health with as much dignity as I can muster. So I am genetically predisposed to depression and anxiety. I think I first noticed depression creeping in probably when I was in college, and I was already a binge eater when I was a young child. And by young child, I mean 8 or 9. I mean, like a little kid. And I wasn't overweight until I was like 25 or 26 or something. But when I got pregnant with my first kid is when I really put on, 60 pounds with him. And I guess I thought that I was eating for two and one of us was Orson Welles. And so I gained 60 pounds with that first one and never really took it off and just have, continued to go from there. But so it's just a thing with me. It's just how my brain works. And I didn't even know that I was suffering from anxiety until about 5 years ago when a doctor said, I think we want to try some anti-anxiety meds on you. Well, after a week or two, or however long it took that medicine to kick in, I was completely shocked. I did not know what it felt like to be normal, to feel normal. Everybody else is normal. My normal is hands numb and tingling, hyperventilating, breaking out in hives, hands shaking, full of anxiety over anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. It's completely easy for me to understand people who are, is it agoraphobes who never leave the house? Troy has always teased me that I'm one step away from an agoraphobe, and I am. All my close friends know whenever we plan social things and I start to back out, they will be like, nope, Carla, you're coming, and they'll decide who's going to come to my house and pick me up. And I have a tremendous, tremendous support system. You could play a drinking game with how many times I'm going to say tremendous during this video. I have an incredibly large group, or close group. They're not large. There's like less than 10 of them, of girlfriends who support me in pretty much every way. So they know that I don't ever want to go anywhere, ever. And so that comes with social anxiety. So depression, the anxiety is fairly easily controlled with medication. If you suffer from anxiety, please go see your doctor. There's very old medication that has been on the market for 35 years that has so few side effects, and don't suffer. That's, if one thing comes through this talk, it's that you do not need to suffer. You are not stronger, you are not braver, you are not better if you suffer through mental health difficulties. You might be stubborn or prideful or fearful if you suffer through, but suffering through mental health issues is not wise, it's not good. There's nothing good about that. So go see your doctor. Depression is, for me, I think a little more complicated. People think depressed people are sad and morose and full of ennui and, maybe dressing goth or whatever. I think in a lot of cases, nothing could be further from the truth. If you knew me just from my, if you were a colleague of mine at school, I don't think that you would ever believe that I was depressed. Depressed people can laugh and smile. They still have a sense of humor. They can do their hair and makeup and put on a fashionable outfit. They can do a lot of things, but there's a lot of things that they can't do. For me, depression coupled with being an introvert, and introvert's a whole nother topic. People think introverts are shy. That is not true. For me, as an introvert, I need a lot of downtime, like hours a day of not speaking with anyone, of being in my own head. And since I'm living in a house full of other introverts, we work very well together. But when you add depression to that, you kind of fold in on yourself. And it costs me everything to get up in the morning, put on a happy face, career outfit, hair and makeup, and go to school and love my kids all day long and love them through and cheer them through and encourage them and admonish them and all of that. When I'm done with that at the end of the day, I have nothing left. Nothing. I would almost have nothing left as just an introvert, but as an introvert suffering from depression, then I really do have nothing left. And my depression gets incredibly bad every year with seasonal affective disorder. And so if you find yourself getting sad every January or February, you probably have seasonal affective disorder. If you will go outside and face the sun for 15 minutes a day, you can probably get over that unless you tend to fall into depression. Now, I'm not an expert on depression. I have no medical training whatsoever. My degree is in journalism, speech, and theater. So this is my personal experience that I'm talking about. But from what I've read, if you are suffering from depression, if you are down for 6 weeks or more, then you need to go see someone. You may be able to get over it through talk therapy. You may need medication. Talk therapy does not work for me. I have brain chemistry that will fall almost immediately back into depression. I am pretty much resigned to the fact that I will probably be on antidepressants for my whole life. I know I'll never be able to go off an anti-anxiety. That's just not even an option for me. And that's okay. I've come to grips with it. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't consider it a crutch. I don't consider it an edge. I consider it a thing that levels the playing field and enables me to function better in society and give more to the people I love and care about. That is, of course, starting with my family, then going to my friends, and finally, my students. I'm a middle school special education teacher. My kids need every single thing that I can give to them, and they deserve it because they're children and they're valuable, and I need to treasure the time that I have with them. And so I need to be on my A game so that I can do that, so I can be there for all the people in my life that I'm lucky enough to have in my life. So 6 weeks, if it's 6 weeks or more, you need to go to the doctor. What kinds of symptoms do you have? For me, it's disengaging from things that I enjoy. So it's quitting sewing, not sewing for months, not wanting to sew, not wanting to leave the house, being unable to muster up the energy to do anything. Cook dinner for my family? No. Sweep, mop, vacuum, dust, put something away that I've used? Nope, can't do it. I could muster up the energy to keep my personal hygiene hopefully top notch and work with 100% effort most days, and that's it. That is it. I recently stumbled across something called Depression Nest, which Nest, N-E-S-T, which is the places that depressed people live, and a bunch of befores and afters. So I'm going to open myself up. This is a hugely vulnerable place to be, to put this on the internet, but I'm going to carry you with me this summer as I go through and clean up my very large depression nest, because I have a pretty big house and it is a disaster area. Okay. So you ask, why don't Troy and Wilson clean up for you, Carla, if you're obviously suffering? Well, I think that when you're living, and I need to get Troy on to talk to you so that he can kind of give you maybe his side of watching someone suffer like this. I think they get to where they're just hanging on by their fingernails as well. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to help. They don't want to come home from work and school and do all of my work in addition to theirs. And then so it just kind of becomes this great miasma of chaos, because the mom, who arguably is the most important person in the family dynamic in terms of being the caretaker of the hearth and the home, The mom has completely disengaged and is no longer doing any caretaking of the other people in the family or of the home. And so they're just all kind of buckling down and they're just along for the ride. Okay. Luckily for me, I've never ever been suicidal. I feel incredibly grateful for that. There's just something about having Troy and the boys in my life. I think that suicide is the most selfish thing that a person can do. I'm not judging people who have committed suicide. They have reached a level of despair that to them is untenable. They cannot go on, and that's why they do that. I'm forever grateful that I have not gotten there. Those of you who reach out, you might be that person in a person who has fallen down to that level. You might be the person that lifts them up out of that. That's how important your gift is. Now, you didn't lift me up out of that because I'm not there. I've never been there. But you did lift me up. And I'm grateful, so grateful that I have you in my life and that I am a part of the YouTube sewing community, because what a gift. I mean, truly, what a gift. So I'm sure that you will have questions about this. What is Mayfield Fabric doing right now? That was a little bit part of my overwhelm. Did it cause me depression? No. But to have to come home from school and then pack orders and try to keep up with Instagram and try to keep up with, YouTube and promoting the business after I'd already been at work all day, that did become part of the overwhelm. Did the business turn my hobby into something other than something that was fun? Yes. Everybody knows that it is not always successful to turn a hobby that you love and enjoy into a business. Some people can do it and it works beautifully for them. Hey, I might open Mayfield Fabric back up sometime. Maybe after Troy and I retire. I think we could really make it. I think that the vintage fabric is a very important thing, that sustainable fabric. And I might be throwing some in my Etsy shop, which is not open right now, but there's my alarm. If I do throw some things in my Etsy shop, I will let you guys know. But Mayfield Fabric as a going concern is no longer a thing. I don't need that extra pressure in my life. So what are my goals going forward for this summer? A couple of little things. One thing that I'm trying out, and you guys will laugh, those of you who do this every day, no matter what, I am, for this summer, going to get up and get dressed and put on a little bit of a face. I'm going to try to do it every single day this summer. Depressed people don't want to do that. They want to stay in their pajamas. They don't really even want to get out of bed. So many days I have worn my pajamas all day long and then brushed my teeth and put on clean pajamas to get in bed. For those of you who normally do get dressed, doing that every now and then is a treat. But for someone who doesn't ever want to get dressed or ever put on their face or ever leave the house, that becomes a really bad habit. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my house this summer, getting it back to where it should be. I will never be a Martha Stewart or a Betty Crocker, and I don't want to be. I don't care about it. I'm not trying to win any clean house contests. I'm not trying to win any decorating contests. I'm not trying to win Miss Crafty, Miss Martha Stewart, Miss Betty Crocker, Miss Homemaker of the Year. I don't care. I have beautiful things. I have a beautiful house. I know what I like. But I'm never going to be a homemaker like is a gift for some people. But I also don't want to live in squalor. My sister was teasing me because we got this pumpkin spice cleaner from Grove Collaborative, and it's not good. It was 6 months ago. It smells like food, and so you're trying to clean and your house smells like baking, or it's just, we don't like it. And I don't hate it as much as she did. She got some more and she brought me hers, and I am still trying to use it up. And she was teasing me this morning. She said, Carla, I don't think you're cleaning enough. That pumpkin spice, Mrs. Myers, should have been gone months ago. I said, do you think? You know, I mean, I clean like once a month when someone comes over. It's panic cleaning, you know, scraping up the dried pancake batter off the counter or whatever. And so I'm going to try to use up some cleaning supplies because dang it, Grove got me again. And there's a huge box over there in front of the door that has not even been unpacked yet. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. Thank you for being a part of my life. If you have any questions or thoughts, or you want to talk to me about my journey, please put it down in the comments section. Let's talk about it. Let me help you if I can. Let me help you help someone in your life if I can. Or if you're just curious, let me know. You guys take care. Next video will either be sewing, or I'm going to start showing you room by room the before and after of my depression nest. And there's a lot of it. So if you like those cleaning videos of before and after, you're going to be super happy. You guys take care.